Let us start with in the last class we have seen so many viscometers. No, in the last one was the Oswald's viscometer. Oswald viscometer is the one which we have used already in physics lab to measure the viscosity of I think acetone or any organic liquid. But the viscometers which we are using for our mechanical lab purpose for measuring the viscosity of lubricants is commonly the Seboldt universal viscometer or the last one, that is pocket type of viscometer, that is Mitchell's viscometer. So either Mitchell's viscometer will be commonly used or Seboldt viscometer will be used commonly. I think Seboldt viscometer is available in our lab. Okay. So by using this Seboldt viscometer, you can able to measure the Seboldt universal viscosity. So that viscosity is called as Seboldt universal viscosity. Means it is neither this dynamic or absolute viscosity, or it is neither kinematic viscosity. It is different viscosity, that is called as Seboldt universal viscosity. Okay, which is measured by using this Seboldt universal viscometer. Okay, so means it is just a comparative study for different lubricants. So suppose one lubricant may be having that Seboldt universal viscosity of some value, maybe 100, and there may be having 125. Like that, we can compare that that second liquid is having more viscosity than the first liquid. That is 25% more viscosity than the first liquid. Like that, we can compare the viscosity of different lubricants by using this Seboldt universal viscometer. But we cannot directly measure the absolute viscosity or kinematic viscosity. So there is one formula for that to convert that absolute viscosity, that Seboldt universal viscosity to the absolute viscosity by using this formula. That is eta is equal to rho T into 0.22 S minus 180 by S, where S is called as Seboldt universal viscosity, which is measured by using this apparatus. Okay, so let us first discuss about Seboldt universal viscometer. The standard method of measuring the viscosity of lubricating oil is by the use of Seboldt universal viscometer, which is illustrated in the figure. You can see here. To make this viscosity test, the oil to be tested is brought approximately to the required temperature. See here, there are heating coils are there, this and this. These two are this four. These are heating coils. So suppose you want to measure the oil at a required temperature, for example, say 45 degrees Celsius, 50 degrees Celsius, you can able to maintain that temperature in this apparatus. That is by using these heating coils. Okay. In a separate vessel. Okay. First, in a separate vessel, they will heat the oil to the required temperature. Later, in order to maintain the temperature in this apparatus, they will be using this heating coil. Okay. What they will do is they will pour the lubricating oil in this cup. This is the cup. This is the water bath. Okay. This is the water bath which is used to maintain the uniform temperature in this cup. Okay. Outside water will be there. So this water will be heated with the help of these coils, so that proper temperature will be maintained. Okay. Initially, we will first heat the oil to the temperature. Then it is maintained at that temperature by using these heating coils and this water bath. Okay. Then the oil to be measured, the oil whose viscosity is to be measured will be poured up to this point. Okay. So that what happens when the oil you are pouring here, if suppose any excess oil is there, it will come here. Okay, in this screw too, so that exact volume of the oil is maintained in this cup up to this top. Okay, so once the exact volume of oil is maintained in this cup, here there is a jet. So this is called as jet, oil jet. So when this is cork 6, okay, this is cork 6, 5 is the jet. So here what happens, once the oil is poured here, this cork will not allow the oil to drop. Once you open the cork or remove this cork here, so that what happens, the oil will start flowing from this cup into this beaker through this jet. Okay, so when the oil starts flowing here, this is the measuring flask whose measurement is about, whose volume is about 60 cc. 60 cc measuring flask is there, and when we open this cork, the oil will start flowing, and we have to measure the time required to fill this measuring flask up to 60 cc. It is this 7 is the level of the this measuring flask up to 60 cc. So once you open the cork, the oil will start flowing from this cup to into this measuring flask, and you have to start the stopwatch. Once you open the cork, suddenly you have to start the stopwatch, and once this it will start filling, this oil will start dropping through this jet into this measuring flask, and once it completely fills up to this point, that is level 7, you have to stop the stopwatch and you have to measure the time required. It is the whatever the time that is measured on the stopwatch, you have to note down that one, and once you note down that time required to measure the stopwatch, so whatever the time you measure in seconds to fill the measuring flask up to 60 degrees 60 cc, that itself is called as Seabolt universal viscosity. Okay, the time required, whatever time, suppose it takes about say 120 seconds to fill this measuring flask from here to here, that 120 itself is the Seabolt universal viscosity. Is it clear? So Seabolt universal viscosity, what will be the unit for Seabolt universal viscosity? Seconds. See here, seconds, time in seconds. So whatever time required to fill the 60 cc flask, that itself is our Seabolt universal viscosity, yes, of that lubricating oil. Once you measure the Seabolt universal viscosity of that lubricating oil, let us call it as yes, and then in order to get the absolute viscosity of that oil, whatever you call it as absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity of the oil, it can be obtained by using this formula. That is absolute viscosity eta is equal to rho T. What is rho T? It is the specific gravity of the oil at temperature T. Okay, means at what temperature you are measuring the viscosity, no? At that temperature you have to measure the specific gravity. What is specific gravity? It is the measure of density of the oil, mass density of the oil. For example, suppose 1 liter of oil is measuring say 900 grams, and you know that 1 liter of water measures exactly 1000 grams. Okay, that is why the specific gravity of water is exactly equal to 1. Suppose 1 liter of lubricating oil is measuring say 900 grams only, then the specific gravity of that lubricating oil is 0.9. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. So where we were? Okay, about the viscosity. Okay, sorry, specific gravity. Specific gravity of any oil is the mass density of that oil divided by mass density of the water. So mass density of the water is exactly 1000 kg per meter cube. Okay? Mass density of water is 1000 kg per meter cube. Suppose this oil is measuring 900 gram for 1 liter, then mass density of this oil will be 900 kg per meter cube. Specific gravity of this oil is specific gravity, mass density of oil by mass density of water, that is 900 by 1000, that is 0.9 is the specific gravity of this oil. Okay, like this the specific gravity will be measured at different temperatures. Yeah. You know that as the temperature changes, specific gravity or the mass density of the any liquid will also changes. Hence, specific gravity has to be measured at the required temperature. At what temperature you want to measure the viscosity of the oil, at the same temperature you have to measure the specific gravity of the oil, and that temperature has to be maintained continuously in the cup. Otherwise what happens, first you will heat the oil to the required temperature, and when you will pour that oil in this cup, its temperature decreases. As the temperature decreases, automatically what happens, its viscosity increases. So you have to maintain that temperature. So in order to maintain the temperature only, they have given these two coils. That is it is a circular coil which will be around, and that heating coil will be there. With the help of that heating coil, they will be maintaining the temperature of this water bath. And once the temperature of this water bath is maintained, the temperature of the cup will also be maintained at that. Okay. Now, once we obtain the Seabolt universal viscosity, that is the time required to fill this flask up to 60 cc is called in seconds, is called as Seabolt universal viscosity. We call it as S, and with the help of this formula, we calculate the absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity at different temperatures in terms of centipoise. Whatever absolute viscosity you will get, it will be in terms of centipoise. And in last class and also in notes, I have given what is the conversion factor for absolute viscosity from centipoise to Pascal second. By using the Pascal conversion factor, you can convert this absolute viscosity from centipoise to Newton second per meter square, that is Pascal second. Okay. And suppose you want the this value of specific gravity at different temperature, then we can use this formula, that is Pt is equal to rho T is equal to rho at 60 minus 0.00035 into bracket T minus 60, where T is the temperature at which you want to determine the specific gravity, and rho 60 is the density of the oil at 60 degree Fahrenheit. Is it clear? Rho 60 is the density of oil at 60 degree Fahrenheit. This will be known at 60 degree Fahrenheit, that is the standard temperature, and T is the temperature in Fahrenheit. Okay. So you will get specific gravity at temperature T. For example, suppose you want to measure the specific gravity at 90 degree Fahrenheit. At 90 Fahrenheit means about 30 degrees Celsius. Then what you have to do? Put T is equal to 90 degrees Celsius and obtain rho T. Okay. Is it clear now? This is about Seabolt universal viscometer. And here, this is the relation between Seabolt universal viscosity and kinematic viscosity in centistrokes. Okay. Kinematic viscosity is new, okay, which we have determined. Okay. So if suppose from the absolute viscosity you calculate the kinematic viscosity and plot the graph of Seabolt universal viscosity versus kinematic viscosity. So this Seabolt universal viscosity will be in terms of seconds, in terms of time, that is seconds, whereas kinematic viscosity is in terms of centistrokes. And you can see that this is the characteristic of the graph. So here you can see that at lower viscosities, the Seabolt universal viscosity does not obey the Hagen-Poiseuille law, whereas kinematic viscosity will be always obeying the Hagen-Poiseuille law. So that is why here you can see that this is straight line, whereas here this is a deviation of the curve. But from here onwards, that is from 20 centistroke onwards, the both kinematic viscosity and Seabolt universal viscosity are directly proportional to each other. Here, this graph shows that kinematic viscosity is approximately proportional to the Seabolt universal viscosity for oils when the kinematic viscosity is greater than 30 centistrokes. See here, from 30 centistrokes or 20 centistrokes, it is straight line. Hence, kinematic viscosity is exactly equal to Seabolt universal viscosity, means directly proportional to Seabolt universal viscosity from 30 centistrokes onwards. Okay, this is about Seabolt universal viscosity, and different viscometers we have discussed still now. These viscometers are used to measure the viscosity of any lubricating oil. So next we will move on to the last topic, that is standard grades of lubricants. Okay. So what are the standard grades of lubricants that we will be discussing? Grades of lubricants means the name of the lubricant. For example, suppose you want to buy the lubricant in the market. How to buy? You cannot tell I want a lubricating oil of this much kinematic viscosity and this much dynamic viscosity and this much specific gravity at this temperature. Like that, you cannot tell all the parameters to the shopkeeper. It will be very difficult. So what they have did is they have graded the lubricating oil based on their viscosity and based on their performance of the lubricating oil. Those are called as standard grades of lubricants. Those are standards. So they will be holding good in over the world, anywhere, at any point. Suppose SAE 20W40 lubricating oil in India is also same as SAE 20W40 in Europe and also in America. Okay. So SAE 20W40, which is the lubricating oil which you are using in your engine oils, in your bikes. Yeah. So there are two main criteria for grading of lubricating oils. Means what? The lubricating oils are graded by using two criteria. That is, two systems are there which are grading the lubricating oil, which are giving name to the lubricating oil. So one is SAE grading or SAE rating, they call it as SAE grading or SAE rating, where SAE, you know that it is Society of Automotive Engineers. It is a society from Germany, automotive engineers from Germany, but which is a very largest society of automotive engineers, because so many mechanical and automotive engineers are there in that society. Mechanical engineers who are having specialization in automobile, okay, who are working in automotive industry, they all are having the membership in SAE, and even you can also get the membership, student membership and also professional membership in SAE. Okay. So Society of Automotive Engineers, they are grading the lubricating oil or rating the lubricating oil based on the viscosity of the lubricating oil at different temperatures. But whereas there is another grading of lubricating oil, that is called as API, American Petroleum Institute, and ACEA or manufacturer specification. These are based on performance of the lubricating oil. Okay. API is called as American Petroleum Institute, whereas this ACEA stands for Association de Constructeurs European de la Automobile. It's a German name, ACEA. It is Association Constructeurs European Automobile. Okay. So these are the different gradings or systems of grading for lubricating oil. First, let us discuss about SAE rating of lubricating oils. How SAE will rate the lubricating oil, or how SAE will name different lubricating oils based on their viscosity. That we'll see. So SAE is the most widely used system of rating. SAE grade rating is the most widely used system of rating. Even in India also we are using SAE rating only. That is why when you go and purchase this lubricating oil, you will be telling SAE, I want a lubricating oil of SAE 30 or SAE 20W40 or SAE 20. Like that, you will be buying the lubricating oil based on SAE rating only in India. Okay. The most widely used system of engine oil system for engine oil viscosity classification is that established by Society of Automotive Engineers (SAE) in the USA. In this system, two series of viscosity grades are defined: those containing the letter W and those without the letter W. Those containing letter W are called as multigrade oils, whereas those which do not contain letter W are called as monograde oils. Multigrade means what? Two grades of oils are mixed together, so that we'll get two different properties of the oil. For example, suppose SAE 20W40 is there. It is a multigrade oil because it contains letter W. Means it is having a lubricating oil of SAE rating 20 and also SAE winter rating 40. Stands for winter. Means what? SAE 20W40 means 20 is the rating for summer, whereas 40 is the rating for winter. And those two lubricating oils are mixed together to get SAE 20W40 lubricating oil. Suppose SAE 30 means what? It is a monograde. It is a single type of lubricating oil. Means it is a lubricating oil having only single grade. Means it can be used either in summer or in winter, but it cannot be used in both summer and winter. And lubricating oil should be such that it should be used in all the temperatures. No, for example, suppose you are using a car, and you know that in Bijapur, when you are using a car in Bijapur, the minimum temperature is up to 13 degrees Celsius or 10 degrees Celsius in winter. It will not go below 10 degrees Celsius in winter. But whereas in summer, it will go up to 40 or 42 degrees Celsius is the maximum temperature in summer. Okay. So here what happens? Suppose you are using a lubricating oil having only summer grade, that is say SAE 30. And suppose you carry this car, suppose you are driving this car to Delhi. If you go to Delhi, then you have to change the lubricating oil. Whatever lubricating oil you are using in Bijapur may not hold good in Delhi, because in Delhi what happens in winter, the temperature goes up to 2 degree or 1 degree Celsius, or even sometimes it has reached 0 degree Celsius also in Delhi in winter. But whereas in summer in Delhi, it goes up to 45, 46 degrees Celsius. So Delhi has very adverse temperatures. In summer it is 46, in winter it is 0 degrees Celsius. So whatever, if suppose you are using a single grade of lubricating oil which can satisfy only summer conditions, then that lubricating oil will not work in winter. And in winter, what you have to do, you have to remove that lubricating oil and change the another lubricating oil which is having winter rating. So that cannot be done, no? It is very difficult. So then what they will do is, they will go on using a multi-grade oil. A multi-grade oil is the one which can satisfy, which is having both the grades, that is summer grade and also winter grade, so that same oil can be, it will hold good even in summer also and even in winter also in Delhi or in any adverse temperature. For example, suppose you are staying in Bijapur, so no problem. Here Bijapur only summer grade is okay, but once you carry that your car, suppose you drive your car to Kashmir or any hilly area, their temperature will be very low. You cannot go and change the lubricating oil there. That cannot be done, no? So the same lubricating oil should be used even in all climatic conditions. That is why in all seasons that lubricating oil should be used. That is why they go for multi-grade oils. Okay? They don't go for monograde oils nowadays. That is SAE 20W40. It is a multi-grade oil which is having a summer rating of 20 and winter rating of 40. Okay, like that. Now, let me show you how they are graded. Oil without the letter W intended for use at high temperature. See here. Without letter W means without winter condition, they can be used at high temperatures, but they cannot be used at low temperatures. That is, in winter season, they cannot be used. Hence, their viscosity is measured at 100 degrees Celsius without letter W. With letter W means, for example, they are monograde oils. And those monograde oils are SAE 30, SAE 40, or SAE 50. But they are no longer used nowadays in automotive engines, because I told no, automotive engines has to be operated both in summer condition and also in winter condition, both in hot regions and also in cold climatic regions. In both the cases, you cannot change the lubricating oil. You have to drive the same vehicle with same lubricating oil. So these monograde oils are nowadays no longer used in automotive engines. Hence, multigrade oils are used in automotive engines, which are having the name like this. SAE means it is a SAE rating XWXX, that is 20W40. The number preceding the W rates the oil for at 0 degree Fahrenheit. Means this X is the winter rating. For example, SAE 20W40 means what does it mean? 20 is the rating for winter and 40 is the rating for summer, which can hold good in everywhere, in Bijapur also and also in Delhi also, means which is a multigrade oil. So 20 is the rating at 0 degree Fahrenheit and 40 is the rating at 100 degree Fahrenheit. 100 degree Fahrenheit means how much? Somewhere around 40 degrees Celsius. Okay. 0 degree Fahrenheit means somewhere around minus 17.8 degree Celsius. Okay. Is it clear now? SAE 20W40, how it is rated? 20 is the rating for winter, whereas 40 is the rating for summer. So all the lubricating oils are named like this only. SAE 10W30. 10W30 means 10 is the rating for winter, whereas 30 is the rating for summer, like that. So see here, that is 5W30. So 5 is the rating for winter and 30 is the rating for summer. And 10W30. All these cases, 0W30. 0 is the rating for winter and 30 is the rating for summer. An engine in a colder climate where motor oil tends to thicken. In colder climate, what happens? Viscosity, you know that as the temperature drops, viscosity of the lubricating oil goes on increasing. As the viscosity of lubricating oil goes on increasing, the pumping power required to pump that lubricating oil to different parts of the engine will also be more. So pump cannot pump it properly. And along with that, the lubricating oil may become solidified at lower temperatures. So that should not happen. So that is why they go for multigrade oils. See here, the first letter before W indicates the winter rating for that lubricating oil. The second number after W, that is this number, indicates the oil viscosity measured at 212 degree Fahrenheit, that is 100 degree Celsius. This number represents the oil resistance to thinning at high temperature. Means what? This second number indicates the use of oil at high temperature. At high temperature, you know that what happens? The viscosity of oil goes on decreasing. So as the viscosity of oil goes on decreasing, the oil becomes thinner and thinner. No doubt that the pumping power decreases, but along with that, when the viscosity of the oil goes on decreasing, the oil becomes thin and it can no longer maintain the fluid film between the two moving parts or between the two parts having relative motion. Hence, what happens? There is a possibility of metal to metal contact and damage to that surface. Then let us go for API classification. That is the second type of classification or grading. It is called as American Petroleum Institute classification. SAE is the one which is widely used. Even in India also they are using SAE. But whereas API is not widely used in India, it is only used in American and some European countries only. API stands for American Petroleum Institute. In 1970, along with SAE and ASTM, SAE is Society of Automotive Engineers and ASTM is American Society for Testing of Materials. Okay, it is testing of materials, not testing and materials. It's testing of materials. They established this API service classification system to define the performance level of a given oil. It is not related to viscosity of the oil, but it is related to performance of the oil. For example, how the oil will be performing at 10 degrees Celsius, how the oil will be performing at 40 degrees Celsius, how the oil will be performing at 100 degrees Celsius. Those all they will be measuring. Okay? And based on that, they will be giving the grade to the or rating to the lubricating oil or name to the lubricating oil. Okay? The API requirement, yes, stands for spark ignition engine. That is for petrol engines. The oil used for petrol engines will be denoted with letter S here, SN, SM, SL, SJ. Okay. Whereas the oil used for CI engine, that is diesel engine, compression ignition engine or diesel engine, it is denoted by letter C. Okay. So hence you can see that the grading is like this. For petrols, you see that the first letter is S, means it is a for SI engine, that is petrol engine, spark ignition engine. For diesel engine, you can see that the first letter is C, means it is for CI engine or compression ignition engine, that is diesel engine. Okay. So SN means what? There are different letters SN, M, L, J. So SN is introduced in October 2010, designed to provide improved high temperature despite protection for pistons and more stringent sludge control and seal compatibility. So piston will be protected and stringent sludge control. Sludge means what? When the lubricating oil is operated, there what happens, a black colored residue will come and deposit maybe on the walls of the cylinder, or maybe they may get collected in the oil sump. That is called as sludge. So sludge control will be there. And seal compatibility means there will be proper sealing between the two surfaces. For example, between the piston and the cylinder. So API SN with resources matches with ILSSC GF, means this is under grading. This and this grade are same. By combining API SN performance with improved fuel economy, turbocharger protection, emission control system compatibility, and protection of engine operating on ethanol containing fuels up to E85. E85 means it is blending. Suppose ethanol or ethyl alcohol is 85% of ethyl alcohol is mixed with petrol, then this can be used. This grade of lubricating oil can be used. This is very high performance lubricating oil used in special types of engines only. But whereas this SM is the commonly used in all automotive engines nowadays. For all automotive engines, it is introduced. SM is introduced in 2004, and SM oils are designed to provide improved oxidation resistance, improved deposit protection, better wear protection, and better low temperature performance over the life of the oil. Some SM graded oils may also be meet the latest ILSSC specification or qualify as engine conservation for 2010. So ILSSC means it is an environmental body which will be looking after pollution. So this SM grade lubricating oil also satisfies low pollution or pollution norms also. And SL is for old engines, for 2004 and older than 2004, before 2004. up to 2001, whatever the engines are were there, those old cars and bikes, they are using SL grade. And SJ grade is even older than that, more than even before 2001. Whatever the engines were manufactured for those, SJ grade is used. Similarly, for diesel engines, it is CJ4, CI4, CH4. These are the different names of the lubricating oil based on API. Okay. Then next classification is AECA. This AECA stands for Association des Constructeurs European de la Automobile. Okay. It is a German classification. This classification system is the European equivalent of API classification system. Means this is used in Europe, whereas API is used in America, whereas SAE is used widely in most of the countries, including India. Okay. But this AECA is very stricter compared to SAE and API rating, because AECA is for very good performance of the engine and also very low pollution. Okay. So AECA has three main groups. A bar B is used for gasoline. That is, for petrol engines, it is used for the grading is A, either A grade or B grade. Okay. And for light duty passenger cars and diesel engines, for all these cases, either A grade oil or B grade oil will be used. That is, A grade oil or B grade oil will be used for petrol engines and light duty passenger cars in diesel engines. Whereas C grade oil is used for light duty three-way catalyst type of engine. So suppose three-way catalyst is used in the engine, then they will go for C. Catalyst is what? Catalyst is used in controlling the pollution. You know that catalytic converter where they are used in exhaust manifold of the engine, so that when the exhaust gases are going out of the engine, they will react with that catalyst present in the catalytic converter in the exhaust manifold, and this most of the carbon monoxide, which is very dangerous if it is liberated in the air, that gets converted to carbon dioxide. Okay. And NOx, most of the NOx is also converted to nitrogen and oxygen separately, so that what happens, the emission from the engine will not be too much harmful. Okay. Then ILSSC. ILSSC is a very stricter lubricating oil rating. ILSSC, engine service classification. ILSSC stands for International Lubrication Standardization and Approval Committee. It includes the major automobile manufacturers that manufacture vehicle in USA. In USA, there are very stringent these pollution norms are there. So nowadays they are going for ILSSC. ILSSC is the authority which will grade the lubricating oil for based on environmental pollution conditions or air pollution conditions. Okay. This includes Japanese manufacturers also. ILSSC is also used in most of the Japanese automotive manufacturers, like Honda car is there. Okay. In those cases, Honda and in Isuzu and in Mitsubishi, in all those cars also, they are using this ILSSC specification for lubricating oils. They are ILSSC are for the fuel economy version of the API specification. They are graded like this: GF1, GF2, GF3, GF4, GF5, like that. They are named like this. GF1 is no longer used nowadays; it is obsolete nowadays. Whereas GF2 is equivalent to SJ of API. GF3 is equivalent to SL rating of API. See here, SL, SJ, SM are there no for API. So the equivalent lubricating oil in terms of ILSSC is GF2, GF3, GF4 and GF5. ILSAC grades only apply to viscosities XW20 and XW30. Okay? Means 10W20, 10W30 or 20W30. Only those lubricating oils are graded in ILSAC. Okay? These are the different grades of the lubricating oil. And this is the and these are the different properties other than viscosity. These are the different properties which are also checked or evaluated when choosing any lubricating oil. Those are relative density. Relative density is nothing but specific gravity. Okay. So usually the most of the mineral oils are having a specific gravity ranging from 0.85 to 0.95. Means what? 1 liter of mineral oil will be weighing 850 gram, whereas 0.95 viscosity means 1 liter of lubricating oil will be weighing 950 grams, whereas 1 liter of water will be weighing 1000 grams. So water will be heavier than all the lubricating oils and even your edible oils. If we see the edible oil and which we are using at home for cooking purpose, and also the lubricating oil and also different oils like dalda and all those things, vegetable oils, they all are actually lighter than water. Water is heavier than them. Water is 1000 grams, that is 1 kg, weighs 1 kg or 1000 grams for 1 liter. But whereas these lubricating oils will be measuring only 850 grams to 950 grams for 1 liter. Okay. Then specific heat and thermal conductivity. So specific heat is also very important. Specific heat means what? The heat absorption capacity of that lubricating oil at different temperature. And thermal conductivity. What is thermal conductivity? The thermal conductivity is how the heat is transferred in that lubricating oil. Okay, because when the lubricating oil is circulated in the bearings and in the engine parts, there what happens? Lubricating oil not only lubricates the parts, it will also carry away the heat generated in that bearings and in that parts where the relative motion is there. So means what? It will cool the bearings and shafts. So in order to cool that, when the lubricating oil is continuously flowing, if the thermal conductivity of the lubricating oil is very high, then what happens? It will quickly absorb the heat from the bearing parts. Heat absorption will be at a very faster rate, quickly. If thermal conductivity is high, then better cooling of the bearings can be achieved. And if specific heat of the lubricating oil is high, then more amount of heat can be absorbed by 1 ml of lubricating oil. Okay, suppose 1 ml of lubricating oil if you take, if it can absorb only 100 calorie of heat or 100 joules of heat, and if any lubricating oil which can absorb 200 joules of heat, then that second lubricating oil will be having more specific heat, hence that is preferred compared to first type of lubricating oil. Okay. Then acidity and alkalinity. That lubricating oil used should not be acidic in nature. Otherwise, what happens? Whatever the lubricating oil we are using, it will be coming in contact with the parts of the engine, and it will corrode the parts of the engine, because you know that acid is highly corrosive in nature. When acid comes in contact with any metal part, it will corrode that metal part. So corrosion occurs and it will destroy that metal part. So that is why the lubricating oil should be neutral in nature. It should not either be too acidic or neither be too alkaline. It should be neutral in nature. Then oxidation stability. Oxidation stability means what? This is the measure of oxidation of the lubricating oil. When the lubricating oil comes in contact with the atmospheric air, it will absorb the oxygen present in the atmospheric air, and that lubricating oil may get oxidized. And when the lubricating oil gets oxidized, that property of that lubricating oil goes on deteriorating. Okay, and that lubricating oil will not satisfy the function properly, because its property, when its property deteriorates, it cannot satisfy the function. So there is a possibility of more oxidation at higher temperatures. At room temperature, no problem. At room temperature, lubricating oil will neither nor combine with the oxygen present in the atmosphere. But at higher temperature, there is every possibility that the lubricating oil may combine with the oxygen present in the atmospheric air and it may get oxidized. So oxidation stability means what? It will not oxidize at higher temperatures. So lubricating oil should have better oxidation stability. Then flash point. You know the flash point, even in engine testing lab, which you have this semester, which you had in 5th semester, there you have did no flash point and fire point. So flash point means what? It is the property of the lubricating oil. At higher temperature, the lubricating oil may release the fumes and it may catch the fire. It may catch the fire at higher temperatures. So if the flash point of lubricating oil is very, very high, then what happens? The lubricating oil will not catch fire at low temperatures. Okay. So flash point of lubricating oil should be high. Foaming. Foaming means what? When the lubricating oil is poured, it will release the bubble or it may form the foam. That nore antevalla now. In detergent, when you mix detergent in water, what happens? It will form the foam, no? That nore. So that should not be, there should not be too much excessive foaming of the lubricating oil when the lubricating oil is flowing in the engine oil. Otherwise, what happens? Air bubble will be introduced in the lubricating oil. Then there will not be proper pumping of the lubricating oil. And scarcity of lubricating oil will be there in the bearing and it may lead to failure of the bearing because of not proper lubrication. Then pour point. Pour point means what? The temperature, the lower temperature at which the lubricating oil becomes liquid and gets poured. You know that when the lubricating at very, very low temperatures, so what happens? The lubricating oil gets solidified. And when the lubricating oil gets solidified, it cannot flow. Now, slowly, when you go on increasing the temperature, for example, suppose you are taking at minus 100 degrees Celsius. Then when you go on increasing the temperature at minus 90, minus 80, minus 70 degree, like that up to 0 degrees Celsius. Suppose at 0 degrees Celsius, the lubricating oil becomes liquid. Then its pour point is 0 degree Celsius, like that. So pour point of the lubricating oil should be very, very low. Means even at lower temperatures, the lubricating oil should be in liquid state. It should not solidify. Then demulsibility. This property is usually desired in oils which may come in contact with water by leakage or by condensation. So when lubricating oil comes in contact with water, it gets demulsified. So the demulsibility number of an oil can be found from a standard test which determines the time in second required for a known volume of oil to separate from an equal volume of condensed steam. When there is a condensed steam is there which is coming in contact with the lubricating oil, how the lubricating oil gets separated from that condensed steam or water, that is called as demulsifiability of that lubricating oil. And that lubricating oil should get separated from water. Otherwise, if lubricating oil dissolves in water or mixes with water, then what happens? It will deteriorate the property of that lubricating oil and you will not get proper lubrication. Next one is extreme pressure properties. Means what? When you are using a lubricating oil and when you are pumping the lubricating oil with the help of an external pump, you are increasing the pressure of the lubricating oil. When you increase the pressure of the lubricating oil, you know that you have seen that in the previous effect of pressure on the lubricating oil, viscosity goes on increasing. So viscosity should not increase too much even at very, very high pressures. That is called as extreme pressure property of the lubricating oil. These are the different properties of the lubricating oil which you have to look after even along with the viscosity, so that you will get a very good lubricating oil. You are choosing a very good lubricating oil for your application. Okay.